In this video, I'd like to show you how to create an easy keychain with some bubblegum beads and an acrylic blank. I start off with acrylic blanks. When you purchase these, there's this paper covering just so it doesn't scratch. I did already remove it off of this one, but I wanted to show you it's just the paper. You don't want to scratch the surface, but if you start right at the edge, it's easy to take this off. So I take that portion off. I do leave this part on because I won't take it off until I'm actually ready to apply the next part to it. On this side of each one, I'm going to add resin. And on this one, I'm going to use resin mixed with glitter. And this is just a silver glitter. And the resin that I'm using is called KS resin. And I do have a link below for all the various supplies that I'm using in this project. So if you're interested in doing it, you can check below for the links. This is an easy 1-to-1 mixing ratio, and it dries to the touch in 12 hours. It's cured in 3 days. And I'm going to mix 1-to-1 ratio. Depending on what your project is, you can decide how much you need for your project. Okay, and then we just stir it slowly. Initially, it becomes kind of opaque as it gets mixed. You don't need to mix this vigorously because then you're gonna incorporate too many bubbles in there. Once the resin is mixed, then I'm going to take some of it and put in a separate container so I can mix this with the glitter. And whenever you work with resin, just make sure that you're in a well-ventilated area, or you wear a respirator, and then definitely wear gloves. I covered several different blanks with the glitter, and now I'm gonna have to let this sit for 12 hours before I do anything else with it. I let the resin cure overnight, and this is what they look like. Really happy with how it looks. It's nice and shiny, no bubbles, nice and even edges. So now the next step is the back of it still has the paper on. So I will take the paper off. And this is why it's good to leave in case you drip any of the resin over or it drips over. It's easy to take off and it doesn't mess up with the back of it. So I have the resin on this side with the glitter, and I want to add vinyl to this side. And for this project, you can use a Cricut to cut anything out of it. I have a link below where I got these blanks, and they do have files for this specific size that you can use to put on here. But you're not limited just to that. What I'm using, so you can create your own in Cricut Design Space, but what I am using is die cut. I'm gonna use this die cut, and honestly I don't remember whose brand this is. It might be Crafter's Companion. I'll show you how I use it. I'll use a yellow vinyl just so you see what it looks like cutting it, and using a diamond press to cut this out because it's just a little die and it's super easy to just pop it in and get the cut as I need it. You can see that's cut out. That's what these look like. So you can use any die that fits onto here to do it. Request was to use green and dark green and gray for this project, and I cut out the vinyl in green instead of the yellow. And here's one that I cut with like a holographic. And this is a great way to use all the little tiny pieces of vinyl that you have and not quite sure what to do with them. Once you have this, then we need to transfer this. I'll take some transfer tape, and then I just want to pick up the vinyl. It's easier to kind of figure out where you want it and move it instead of having it just, you know, holding on to the vinyl itself. And I think I will put it right there. And there is the acrylic portion with the vinyl on it. What I want to do is add some beads to this. And for that, I am using bubblegum beads. They're 20 millimeter size beads. And they do come in all sorts of designs. Just so to show you, they're pretty fun patterns. And I have a couple of listings in my Etsy shop if you're interested in bubblegum beads. And then the other thing that I'm using is stretch cord. So this stretches, and for this I'm using, depends on how many beads you want to add on there, right about 14 inches or so, 12 to 14 inches, just to give you a little space to work with. And the first thing to do is put this through the acrylic portion of it. That goes right through here. And then once you have it here, then you kind of form a loop and you pull it through. So this tightens onto here, and you can pull pretty tight on it to make sure that it doesn't shift. And next is putting the beads through, and you decide on what order you want these in. And I think I decided I wanted the dark one in the middle and then the other two on the end. Okay, so that's threaded right there. The other components that I'm adding to this keychain are something to hook. You know, if you want to, you can certainly hook this on your purse, and then a ring you can add additional keys, and just a little more decorative piece. So I will thread this in here, and then I'm going right back through the other beads here, just through the first one, and then we'll tie a knot. And at this point it's still gonna be loose, but that's fine. Just kind of pull on it, then everything is gonna be tight. Once you're here, then I want to tighten this as much as possible. So I'm gonna go around and tie a knot here. And I'm still holding on tight at this point because I don't want this to stretch out. And as you can see, it's all together. And I go through the next one, and you can pull on it, it stretches. Just so you can go through the next one and do one more knot on the next level. That's the nice thing with this, is that it stretches, so you have room to work with that. I'll leave that for a second and then I'll trim it. This I will add to this ring here, just so you can add some more keys to it. And then this I will add here. You could add the jump ring if you wanted to, just to give it, you know, one more layer to it. Or you could hook it directly onto this ring that's here. Either way works. This here, I'll add one more knot to it. And then once you have it here, you can kind of pull it, and it's gonna go back into the bead if you pull on it a little bit. See, you can't see the knot anymore, even though it was there. It went inside of this bead right here. Okay, so there you have the keychain. So pretty easy to make, and using up these bubblegum beads is a fun way to create something different. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please comment below. Would love to see if you create this. Join my Facebook group and post your project there. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next project.